Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Nazir, pages 55 through 61. Nun hey, 55. Hanichnas le'eretz ha'amim, if a Jew enters into the land of the heathens, meaning he crosses the border from Eretz Yisrael to outside of Eretz Yisrael, chutz la'aretz. Well, the rule is, by rabbinic decree, that such a person becomes tameh. They become ritually impure. However, it depends upon how they cross the border. B'shida teva u'migdal tahor. If they cross in a basket or some irregular way, in a container, a closed container, then they don't gain the ritual impurity. They don't contract tuma. However, b'koron v'sfina v'skaria, if they enter in a wagon or by boat or by ordinary methods, then they will contract ritual impurity, tuma. The question is, why did the rabbis impose tuma on the Eretz Ha'amim? And there are two explanations. One is a more ritualistic explanation, and that is to say that there are graves strewn all over the land outside the borders of Israel, and since a person doesn't know if they came into contact with a corpse, by rabbinic decree, we imposed tumah upon them. However, that seems a bit too far-fetched. Another interpretation is this was a demographic consideration, that the rabbis were concerned people were leaving Eretz Yisrael and they wanted to safeguard the integrity of the Jewish community and to make sure that the Jews maintained their demographic dominance in Eretz Yisrael. And so, to dissuade people from leaving, it was decreed, if you cross the border, you're tameh, you're impure. And that might have been an inducement for people to stay and live the Jewish life in Eretz Yisrael. Nun vav, 56. Any source of corpse impurity which is substantial enough that will cause a Nazir to do the shaving ritual on account of having contracted that impurity, a person would similarly be liable for violating the rule of entering the temple courtyard area in such a state of impurity. And any source of corpse impurity which the Nazir will not shave for, then a person will similarly not be liable for having transgressed and entering the temple compound in such a state of being. Nun Zayin, 57. Shnei Nazirim, there were two Nazirim. She'amar lahem echad, and one guy says to these two fellas, Reiti echad mekem shnitma, I saw one of you become impure. But I don't know which one of you became impure. One of you for sure did, but I don't know which one. What do we do now? So the two fellows who are the Nazirim, who don't know their status, they will, at the end of the term, both shave and together jointly bring a korban for purification from ritual impurity, meaning a botched Nazirut, and a korban for the standard term of finishing a period of Nazirut. V'amer, and each one will say, Imani hu tameh, if I was the impure one, korban tuma sheli, then I am the owner of the korban shel tuma, the one for purification from impurity. The korban tahara shelcha, and the one for finishing the term, the tahara, belongs to you, the other guy. V'imani hu atahor, and if I'm the pure one, korban tahara sheli, then I own the korban tahara for finishing the term, the korban tuma shelcha, and as for the one for purification, that belongs to you, for the other guy. V'sofrin shloshim yom, and then we wait another 30 days. Umavian korban tahara, and then we bring one more sacrifice, or set of sacrifices, that are finishing the term. V'omer, and each one says, Imani hu hatameh, if I was the impure one, korban tuma sheli, then I own the previous korban tuma. V'korban tahara shelcha, and you own the earlier korban tahara. And as for this one now, korban tahara, it belongs to me. V'imani hu atahor, and if I was the pure one back then the pure sacrifice back then was mine, the impure one was yours, and the pure one now is yours. Okay. 58. Ha'avarat seyar, the shaving of body hair by a man, eno midivrei Torah, is not a Torah prohibition. Ela midivrei sofrim, is only a rabbinic prohibition. Mailoke, so if it's only a rabbinic prohibition, then why did an earlier recorded position of the Amoraim say that the person is going to get corporal punishment for having violated the rule of shaving the body hair? And the Gemara answers, Midir Rabbanan, it's not a Torah law, meaning the Torah corporal punishment, but rather it's Makat Mardut. It's the smacking that we give you for having violated rabbinic ordinances. Okay. Nun Tet, 59. Nazir she'atam b'safek. If a Nazir was of doubtful state of impurity, umuchlach b'safek, and is doubtful whether he was a confirmed mitzora, then ochel b'kadshim achashishim yom. He's going to be able to eat sacrificial foodstuffs only after 60 days, meaning he's not going to escape his status as a mitzora, if he has such a status, until 2 rounds of 30 days come to pass, for the shaving ritual to be done each time, 2 times, after a 30-day period. But he could drink wine and only go to a cemetery only after 120 days, meaning there are 4 shavings, each one after 30 days. 4 times 30 is 120. Because the shaving done for purification of a mitzora will override the ban on shaving that exists for a nazir, bisman shuvadai, only when it is of definite status. Bisman shu suffix, but when it's on uncertain status, it will not override the nazir law. That's why each shaving can only happen after a full 30 days have elapsed. We cannot do it prematurely. Samach 60. The students of Shimon Bar Yochai asked him the following question: Nazir tahor umitzora. So if a person is both a nazir finishing his term and a mitzora, can he do one act of shaving and it suffices and satisfies his obligation for both the finishing of the term of the nazir and purification of the mitzora? Since both of those statuses have to be resolved in the same manner, can you do one ritual act to take care of both? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And the answer was, Amalahen ena. So he said, no, it can't work. It doesn't work. Samach Aleph 61. Hakutim, the Gentiles, ein lehem nazirut, have no ability to become nazirim. They are not able to take on that status. Nashim v'avadim, women, Jewish women, and Canaanite servants, yesh lem nazirut, they could take on the status of nazirut. However, there's a distinction drawn between nashim and avadim. Chomer ben nashim and avadim, there's a greater stringency to the nazirut status of a Jewish woman than there is to that of a Canaanite servant. Because a man who's a master of the servant, the owner, is allowed to coerce the Eved Kenani to undo his vow and to drink wine. However, a Jewish husband cannot do that to coerce his wife. Similarly, she can retain her Nazirut status, whether he likes it or not, after the initial opportunity for him to revoke her vow is over, so then he cannot force her to drink any wine. Everyone have a great week.